All right, let's go to, this is also pretty funny. I'm not as much of a Bill Bradley fan, but if this is all he's doing, I'll be happy with it. Here's Bill Bradley on Chuck Todd. This was yesterday. I don't know what show it was.
Meet the Press Daily.
Meet the Press Daily? Is that what they call that show? I had no idea. This is Meet the Press Daily. And my favorite part about this is not just the understanding of the importance of the tax code and the belittling of Donald Trump, but also that Chuck Todd's assumptions as to who Donald Trump is are just flat out buried. I mean, I hope this is a learning moment for Chuck Todd so that he doesn't walk around thinking that Donald Trump... I mean, there was a time where people had some perspective of Donald Trump. Like, he's just a guy who has a TV show. There are bigger builders in New York. There are far more successful builders. There are builders who actually started without having their dad co-sign all their big deals. It just so happens this guy was like... There was a woman, Angelina or something like that, out in Hollywood when I was out there in those days, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, who was married to a very wealthy guy who kept buying billboards with pictures of her and just saying her name on it. And people, who is that? That's who she is. She's that lady whose husband bought all those billboards. That's what Donald Trump is. But there's apparently some sense that Donald Trump is like moving in like royal circles. And this is what the amazing thing about this clip with Chuck Todd is that Bill Bradley just sort of looks on him like, no, listen.
I imagine as a New Jersey senator, you had plenty of interactions with Donald Trump, one form or another. And as a prominent New Yorker, you've had some interactions with him. Is this the same guy you've known for 30, 40 years, or is he different?
Pause it. Now, what do you think Chuck Todd's getting? Like, has he changed? Has he changed? Or is he genuine? That's where this question is. Like, is he genuine? I mean, do we really know the real Donald Trump? As if that's relevant in any way. I mean, he was sort of racist before, and he's sort of racist now. But is he authentic at least? Dial it back just a little bit.
With him. Is this the same guy you've known for 30, 40 years, or is he different?
I've never had any interactions with Donald.
None at all?
Nope, I've never.
Not even formally?
Hands with him.
No.
He clearly is in New Jersey. I certainly know Donald Trump, and you know, my Tax Reform Act in 1986 is what almost bankrupted him. But the reality is,
explain that. You were big behind tax reform in '86. Yeah. Why did that almost bankrupt him? Explain how it did.
Because he is a below average real estate developer who almost went bankrupt because he got addicted to real estate tax shelters. And that means paying no tax. And we ended real estate tax shelters in 1986. And he called it a catastrophe. Well, it wasn't a catastrophe for the country. He'd have to pay some tax maybe. But
it hurt his bottom line.
Definitely. I mean, if you built your empire on real estate tax shelters and they're gone.
Well, there's still a lot of benefits that real estate developers get in the tax code.
I'm sure.
And how much of it, the speculation has been, okay, that's what he doesn't want to show. That can you get so many tax breaks, the way you understand the tax code, and there probably is no better person I could find to do it, that you could pay zero, that your actual percent of taxes, your tax rate on income could be zero because you could make your income seem negative?
It's much more difficult to do now than it was before 1986. But it's not impossible to do. I mean, you know, I think the question is he worth $10 billion? He says he is. Well, the only way we know that is if he reveals his income tax returns and shows us how much money he's made, not in the last year, but over 10
But is it a big deal, $2 billion versus $10 billion? What's the difference?
Well, as Everett Dirksen said, a billion here, a billion there. Pretty soon you're talking about
he's a billionaire either way. I mean,
Yeah.
You think that matters? I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. You think the voters care?
I think people who are working hard out there paying taxes, they'd like to know, is the person who seeks to lead them also doing his fair share?
So there it is. Bill Bradley shocking Chuck Todd that he didn't know Donald Trump for 30 or 40 years. Guy is a scumbag. Why would Bill Bradley want to deal with Donald Trump? He's in New Jersey. I mean, I guess if you needed to take some money from Donald Trump at one point. But legitimate people who are not going with their hat in hand, I'm not going to know Donald Trump. No, Trump gives money to the Clintons. Just about every complaint that people have about the Clintons is the fact that she would take money from a Donald Trump. I mean, that is really right. I mean, that's one of the worst things you could say, I think, about the Clinton machine, is that they would take money from a Donald Trump. But that I found interesting. And also, I remember that tax reform. I was working interning in an office with a guy who was on the Ways and Means Committee. And there was really nothing to do in that office, despite the fact that huge omnibus tax thing was happening. My job was just to get him a case of Busch beer and packs of Merit cigarettes. That's what I did. Hello, you. I'm Sam Seder. Looking for smart progressive talk that is occasionally amusing? Well, subscribe to our YouTube feed. Subscribe to our podcast. Like us on Facebook. And just generally enjoy us.